So, good evening, all of you. And myself, Dr. Sanjay Kapat. I'm handling sales and marketing part on behalf of M.V.L.N Biosciences Limited. M.V.L.N Biosciences manufactures and sells products that deliver quality and value for animal health and nutrition industry. With over 45 years of experience, including over 10 years in the poultry, dairy, and aqua industry, M.V.L.N is a brand you can trust. Our operations are supported by a nationwide marketing and technical team, in-house manufacturing and R&D for enzymes, probiotics, feed premixes, and additives. So we have accredited and certified plants, manufacturing plants for manufacturing our products. Today, I'm very happy to announce that today, M.V.L.N Biosciences Limited organized 11th technical webinar. It's it's because that we value your commitments to improving your practices and profitability in poultry farming. Actually, Chembond Biosciences Limited has initiated this webinar series with the objective of educating and raising awareness among poultry farmers. Our goal is to provide you with the latest advancements, techniques, and solutions to enhance your productivity and profitability. We believe that by sharing knowledge and best practices, we can collectively work towards a more sustainable and prosperous poultry industry. Your active engagement and thoughtful questions always enriched our previous discussions and made these webinars an interactive and meaningful experience. So today I welcome all the participants who have joined us today. So thank you all for joining us. Now there is a little change in this webinar. Uh, First of all, we'll discuss about this webinar flow. First, our webinar speaker will, deliver their speech. After that, we'll give you time for question and answers. So you need to share your questions through chat box. After the questions, we after the question collections, we answered your questions one by one. So today, actually, this webinar is mainly our main speaker was Dr. S.V. Rama Rao, but just he recently have throat infection. So Dr. Raju is there. So I just to give brief introduction of Dr. S.V. Rama Rao. Dr. S.V. Rama Rao has a Ph.D. degree in poultry science with few meritorious gold medals during his academics. Based on extensive research work, he recommended optimum requirements of calcium and phosphorus during the late 90s, which were widely accepted by both broiler and layer farmers in our country. He involved in both applied research and extension activities for commercial and backyard poultry farmers. The scientists involved in popularization of few nutritional solutions developed by their team to reduce feed cost, optimize major minor nutrients allowance for commercial broilers and layers. The scientists have published more than 239 research articles in peer-reviewed journals, 128 popular articles, and 7 books. Presented 42 invited lectures in many parts of the globe. Dr. Rama Rao is also recipient of awards like ICAR Young Scientist Award, ICAR Team Research Award, CLAFMA Award, National Productivity Council Award, CK Rao Trust Award, Kerala Chapter Research Award, Best Poultry Nutritionist Award. Currently is working on nutritional modulations to combat his stress in poultry. So this is about Dr. S.V. Rama Rao. And now, on behalf of Dr. S.V. Rama Rao, today's session will be delivered by Dr. Raju. So today is our webinar speaker is Dr. M.V.L.N. Raju. He's principal scientist and ICAR-Director of Poultry Research, Rajendra Nagar, Hyderabad. So his qualification, he did his M.V.Sc from Hyderabad and Ph.D. in Poultry Science from Bengaluru University. So as a professional experience, Dr. Raju have 33 years of research in poultry nutrition. Then he handled so many projects in research, about 22 projects which are sponsored by ICAR, DPT, DST, Government of India. So his he have immense experience in research, and his contribution is like he worked for extensive research on multiple mycotoxins in poultry feeds, their toxicity and counteractions using natural agents through biotechnological approaches. Even Dr. M.V.L.N. Raju also works on vegetable oil as an effective agent in countering aflatoxins in broiler chicken diets. He also worked on insect larva meal identified as an eco-friendly alternative protein source for poultry feed. There are more articles and research on Dr. M.L.V. Raju that rice bran lysoleucine as a useful energy supplement in broiler chicken diets. He also worked on identification of alternative low-cost feed ingredients and also optimization of dietary nutrient levels and restricted feeding programs for broiler breeder chickens, broiler breeders and commercial broiler chickens also. So he is a member of committees like member of the Committee on Nutrient Requirements of Poultry, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, New Delhi. He is the organizing secretary for National Conference of Indian Poultry Science Association in 2012. We are 325 delegates from all states of India and abroad with a budget of Rs 34 lakh. So he is also a co-chairman and for AH conferences which were held on 2012 and 2024, which was the Association of Avian Health Professionals. He is an expert member for Academic Council and Sri Venkateswara Veterinary University, Andhra Pradesh. He is an editor for Indian Journal of Animal Nutrition Society of India, Karnal. So I welcome Dr. MLV and Raju to deliver today's speech on recent trends in poultry nutrition. So thank you, Doctor, for joining us today. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for the nice introduction and also the good words about me and Dr. Rama Rao. So it might be, I'm sure, like no, the audience must be very much disappointed to see me as the presenter of today's presentation in place of Dr. Rama Rao. Yes, as you said, like he's slightly not well, suffering from cold and sore throat. So he requested me to present his presentation on his behalf. So this is his presentation. So I'm going to make on his behalf. And we are also fortunate that he is already there in this meeting, but probably he'll be able to take few questions at the end. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, visible, sir. Sir, just 1 minute.
Yeah.
I would like to honestly thank my colleague, Dr. M.V.L.N. Raju. He told one word which I didn't like truly. It is disappointed. But the fact is, all the trials, all the experiments, all the projects, we both are involved since 1992 onwards till date. So whatever I do the research related to academics or even like industry related things, we always keep discussing everything. And in fact, he has much more knowledge in multiple mycotoxins, and he has an acquired excellent knowledge on black soldier fly, which is a very more sort of the topic, and also silkworm pepper. These are the areas he is currently working. So I think nobody will get disappointed, and you will get excellent information, knowledge from you, sir. Thank you very much for accepting. Personally, as well as from M.V.L.N. side, I sincerely, honestly thank my colleague, Dr. M.V.L.N. Raju garu. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rama Rao garu. Yeah, of course, we do as a team. We have been working as a team for the last more than 3 decades. And yeah, but you are the leader of this entire research group. I can proudly say that. Anyway, so I able to see, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this presentation, Dr. Rao actually wanted to cover a few important areas on which actually at our institute, whatever the work has been done in the last 3 decades. The first one we'll be addressing the calcium and NPK requirement of broilers and layers, and then the approaches to improve nutrient digestion or utilization in poultry. And then, of course, wheat as energy source in a couple of trials in layers and broilers. And then AGP, of course, the important area. That also, whatever the work has been done at this institute, that also will be sharing. And then the few slides on mycotoxins. That also just will cover in brief. So first, about the calcium and non-phytin phosphorus requirement. Of course, these are the fundamental things. We don't need to, we are all aware of all these things. We're all like the field veterinarians and consultants and highly learned field poultry specialists are attending this. So this is the basic information like calcium and phosphorus, their role in body fluid homeostasis, then energy metabolism in ATP and all those things. And then phospholipid synthesis, we know like phospholipids, they are the integral part of the cell membrane. And they are very important components in the system of the bird. And also the basic skeletal development for calcium and phosphorus, they are the important chief constituents of bones. So the bones give the shape to the animal, any animal for that. So the skeletal development of any animal, calcium and phosphorus are very, very important. And in case of layers, the shell quality. Okay, so that is also very, very important function of calcium. So those things, of course, we are all well aware. And before going into our research, what the industry has been following, I see briefly, if you see like the important nutrients like energy is about pre-starter 3000 kilocalories, then it is increased to 3125 in starter phase and then 3250 in case of finisher. And then protein is simultaneously reduced from 22 to 22.5 to 21% and then 19.5% in finisher phase. And then the calcium is given about 0.94 in this pre-starter phase, 0.92 in starter, and 0.88 in the finisher phase. And NPP is 0.45, 0.42, and 0.4. So these are taken as the golden standards, and religiously the feed formulations are based on these recommendations or these the standards which are widely followed. But we'll go to our research, which shows a slightly different scenario. Like in one experiment done way back 2 decades ago, in broilers, the calcium levels were, graded levels were tested from 0.7 to 1% at a constant NPP level of 0.35%. So you can see like the body weight gain improved from 0.7 to 0.8%. And from there onwards, there is slight reduction in the body weight. Okay. But tibia ash went on increasing almost in a linear fashion from 48% to 54% as the calcium level increased. Okay. And leg scores, of course, were not affected at these levels, 0.7 to 1%. So based on these response criterion, the regression equations were plotted and then the predicted requirements of calcium were calculated. And so these were different for each variable or each performance variable. So for the body weight gain, it was 0.756% calcium was sufficient or optimum, found to be optimum based on the regression predictions. But in case of tibia ash, it was 0.983. So it is slightly on the higher side or significantly on the higher side compared to body weight gain, the growth, you can say. So that means for proper skeletal development, the bird may need higher calcium requirement, but for performance, it's, this lower level itself was sufficient. And in another trial conducted in 1999, reported in 1999, so calcium was kept at 1% constant, and the NPP level was changed from 0.25 to 0.45. So graded levels were tested, 0.25, 0.3, 0.35, 0.4, and 0.45%. Okay. So if you see the body weight gain response, so when it was increased from 0.25 to 0.3, there was a significant leap in the body weight. Okay. The growth significantly improved when it was increased from 0.25 to 0.3%. But from there onwards, the response is there, but it is not this much. Particularly from 0.35 onwards, it was reaching almost the plateau. So 0.4 onwards, it again, after 0.4%, it started even declining a bit. But TBI ash, just as we have seen in the previous trial, here also it was increasing with the levels of NPP. So just like calcium, here also with NPP levels also, the TBI ash content was kept on increasing as the level of NPP increased. Then in a different trial, vitamin D was also added along with calcium and NPP in a 4x4 factorial kind of arrangement. The calcium and NPP 2:1 ratio was maintained, but graded levels of both were tested. 0.4 is to 0.2, and then 0.5 is to 0.25, 0.6 into 0.3, and 0.7 into 0.35. And 4 levels of vitamin D3, 300, 600, 900, and 1200 ICU per kg of diet. So these were tested along with these levels in a 4x4 factorial kind of design. So if we see like at the lowest level of 0.4% calcium and 0.2% NPP, the performance was in the body weight gain was very poor or very inferior. But you can see the response to vitamin D level. So as the vitamin D was increased from 300, which was being advocated at the time as a standard one. So as it was increased from 300 to 600, 900, 1200, there was simultaneous increase in the body weight gain. Okay. But at the other higher levels, 0.5 to 0.25, there also there was some improvement up to 1400, this one 900 ICU. And at 0.6 and 0.3, the increments started disappearing. So statistically, if you compare the means of these, so these were statistically similar to the control one or 300 units. So here also they were similar. So this level 0.5 is to 0.25 NPP with 900 to 1200 ICU was comparable, statistically comparable to the highest weight recorded in this group of 0.7 is to 0.35 with the highest level of vitamin D3. So this implies that we need not go to this highest level of both or all the three, like calcium, NPP, and D3. So if D3 is maintained at 1200 or 900 UN, so the calcium and phosphorus could be reduced to 0.5 to 0.25%. So these were the findings in our test conditions. And commercial broilers raised in stainless steel battery brooders. And this is another trial. So D3 versus NPP. So calcium and NPP 2:1 ratio was maintained. So the vitamin D levels were maintained at 200, 1200, 2400, and 3600 ICU. And this is 2.5 grams, means 0.25% NPP, and the other one, the red line, is the 0.3% NPP. So at the lower level of NPP, you can see like the performance was inferior up to like 2400. So from then onwards, they were similar in terms of body weight. Okay. And 0.3%, there was improvement from 200 to 1200. And from there onwards, it is almost a plateau. There was no much improvement. But at the lower level, even up to 2400, there was some improvement, numerical improvement, which is statistically, of course, not significant. So this shows that the level of phosphorus can be reduced if higher levels of vitamin D are given in the diet. And in a different trial, vitamin D3 at low calcium NPP broilers. So at varied levels, 200, 1200, 2400, and 3600. So this is the control diet maintained with 0.9 is to 0.45, and then starter phase, and 0.8 to 0.4 in the finisher phase. So whereas in the test diets, so the calcium and phosphorus levels were reduced to 0.5 and 0.25 in the starter phase, and finisher phase 0.4 is to 0.25. So the only variation among these 4 diets is the vitamin D level. So all these experiments were done on quite good number of replicates, large number of birds per each replicate. So these were the variations. And when we see the results in body weight gain or feed efficiency, so body weight gain was when much inferior in the negative control, or where the calcium and phosphorus were reduced from 0.9 to 0.5. And then phosphorus was, as we have seen here, so 0.45 to 0.25 was reduced. So when it was reduced without any additional supplementation of vitamin D, the body weight gain suddenly dropped. And then as the vitamin D level increased in the diet, so the body weight gain went on increasing. You can see up to the highest level it increased. And then feed efficiency in this paper, because of the requirements of the journals, it was calculated in the reverse. It is the body weight gain divided by feed intake. So the highest figure is always, higher number is always good, is directly positive or proportional. So this is the control one, and the last one, giving with 3600 ICU, is very close to the control. And based on these response data, so the regression equations were plotted, and then the optimum requirement of cholecalciferol or vitamin D3 was calculated, and it came out to be as 3000, little above 3000 ICU per kg diet. Like for body weight gain, initially it is 3100 kilo ICU, and then later on it is 3400 ICU. And for bone ash, of course, it was little on the higher side. So as we are seeing other response also, like for bone health, it is slightly on the higher side. Then coming to the most popular enzyme, that is the phytase. Among all the enzymes, is the most successful one and most commercially accepted and widely followed phytase enzyme. So in every formulation nowadays, we are finding phytase. In this trial conducted 10 years ago, or reported 10 years ago, graded levels of calcium were tested, like 3.5, 3.75, 4%, and 4.25% in layers. So 25 to 72 weeks throughout the life of the laying chicken. So throughout the laying cycle, it was tested. And these levels of calcium were tested with and without phytase, so the 500 phytase units. And in 4x2 factorial design was there, and 88 birds in each replicate. Like that, there were 8 replicates for each treatment. So this was done in a practical field situation. And this is how the diets were compounded. So the DCP was totally withdrawn in this group of the set of diets with phytase. So the NPP level was reduced from 0.3 to 0.1% here. But the calcium level was maintained similar. These levels, 3.5, 3.75, and 4% and 4.25. So like this, the phytase was tested. And when we see the results, 3.5, 3.75, and 4%, 4.5%, 2.5% calcium with and without phytase. So when phytase was not there, so by increasing the dietary calcium level, the egg production significantly increased from 3.5 to 3.75, and from there also slightly increased up to 4%, and beyond that there is no improvement, or slightly there is a slight reduction is there. But when phytase was supplemented, you can see like this 3.5 to 3.75, they were close to each other, almost similar. But the higher levels of calcium, like 4% and 4.25%, the egg production dropped. So this is quite an interesting result. So this shows that we have to be very, very cautious while using phytase in the layer diet. So the calcium levels have to be closely monitored, and if they are kept at very high levels, then the performance of the bird may be negatively affected. So this could be probably due to the excess amount of calcium releasing into the system because of phytase. So phytase is breaking down the phytate, and with that excess, all the other nutrients are getting increasingly available to the bird. So that may be the level of calcium available to the bird, actually available to the bird, might be much more than this, what we are assuming. So that may be negatively working. So we have to be always careful while using phytase in layers. The calcium levels have to be properly monitored and kept maintained at this level to get the best performance or optimum performance in layers. And the same is the case with FCR. So while calcium was increased up to 4%, you can see best FCR was seen. But when phytase was added, so you can see it was increasing. So this is the numerical, slightly close, but here it is much more than that. Then in another experiment, we have evaluated the response of the higher level of phytase, the superdose normally practically called. So it is instead of 500, 1,500 units of phytase was tested along with the standard one of 500, and then without phytase, 0 level. And body weight gain, we can see like when it was increased from 0 to 500, there was improvement, and from there again there was further improvement. When phytase level was increased from 500 to 1,500. And the feed intake also there was slight increase, and FCR significantly reduced, that showing enhanced nutrient or feed utilization efficiency. So this trial was done with constant level of calcium and NPP. So 0.5 and suboptimal levels of calcium and phosphorus. And then coming to the layers, like the phase 1 and phase 2, if you consider as 2 phases, like initially from 0.5% production to 40 weeks, and then after 40 weeks. So the 2,600 kilocalories of energy, and then per day, about 15.5 grams of protein is consumed, and these different amino acids, and then NPP about 440 milligrams, and calcium about 4.2 grams. And then during later phase or phase 2, so slightly higher energy, and then 15 grams of protein, and then 420 milligrams of phosphorus, and 4.35 grams of calcium is being recommended and followed. Okay. So in this report published in 2003, 21 years ago, the graded levels of calcium were tested from 3.25 to 4.5% at constant NPP level of 0.3% NPP. So we can see like the egg production, tibia ash, tibia strength, and even shell thickness, they were statistically not affected. statistically they were all similar. So this was also done in quite good number of birds, 10 replicates, each replicate having 88 layers. This was also done in a commercial facility. Okay, this shows that this level could be enough for the birds, laying chickens. And then NPP into layers from during 38 to 50 weeks, 3.6% constant calcium level, graded levels of NPP, so 0.2, 0.25, 0.3, and 0.35%. So the egg production was coming down as we increase the level of phosphorus at this level of NPP, calcium. Sorry. The shell thickness increased at from 0.2 to 0.25, and afterwards there is again a decline. That shows the NPP level. What we are following is on the higher side. Okay, this is done 25 years ago, this study. And in another study, during 22 to 72 weeks of the laying chickens, so the NPP level was kept at the lowest possible level of 0.15. So this is per gram of feed. And see like 0.15, 0.175, 0.2, 0.225 to 0.325. So this is the highest level. And constant level of 3.6% calcium was tested. Okay. And you can see like the egg production numbers per bird per day, they were the best at the middle level of 2.5 NPP, around 2.25 to 2.25, 2.5, like that, when the shell weight and as well as tibia mineral variables. So based on all these response variables, using the regression equation, so this was calculated as the optimal requirement of NPP. So during 22 to initial phase of production could be 0.15, and then middle phase 58 to 38 to 53 weeks is about 0.26%, and later phase 54 to 72 weeks it could be 0.24%. Then just a small comparison of breeders versus layers. So this is for the total life of the breeder. So broiler breeder is taken, I guess, here. So 55 kg, and layer is about 47 kg. And 12,100 grams of egg mass is produced by the breeder. And then phosphorus intake per bird is 220 grams throughout the life. So the layer consumed about 136 grams per bird. And this field experiment reported by Dr. Balasundaram. So this was done on broiler breeders during 51 to 66 weeks. This NPP level, varied levels from 0.15 to 0.4%. Levels were tested, and the constant level of 3% calcium was maintained, and replicates 10, and each replicate 20 birds. So feed allowance was given, restricted feeding was followed. So 154 grams per bird per day was given. So this study was done as a part of his M.V.Sc thesis work under the guidance of Dr. Rama Rao. So this is the diet composition. Monocalcium phosphate was added in the diet to arrive at the required levels of NPP. And then the response, if you see, like the egg production, it was almost 62 to 63%. So, and then settable eggs percentage also 91, almost 91. And then shell quality, in terms of shell percentage and shell thickness, they were all similar. And then bone weight, bone strength, ash, calcium, and phosphorus, all were similar. And then the hatchability also was almost similar, except day-old chick weight was slightly inferior at one level, so 0.2. And this could be, I think, the biological variation. So 86%, the highest hatchability was seen at the 0.25%. But yeah, all other major response criterion were not affected. So based on these results, if we calculate like optimum NPP is 0.25%, then the industry is overfeeding the birds with more of phosphorus. So if we recalculate the requirements and then reduce as per the results of this study, then we can save for 50,000 batch of broiler breeders, 20 tons of MCP can be saved in 1 year. Okay. Then we move on to the second area for discussion today, that is the nutrient digestion, how it can be improved. So different trials we tried, experimented in different angles. So the gist of some of the trials we'll be giving here. So the emulsifier we tried in one trial to see its effect on the nutrient utilization, okay, and then the performance. So the emulsifier was added at graded levels from 100, 200, and 300 grams per ton of feed. And body weight gain, when it was added, so it was better than the control unsupplemented group. And FCR, you can see like significantly better. And further increase up to 300 did not give any additional benefit. So 100 is sufficient as per this study. And supplemental fiber, sometimes fiber, some amount of fiber in the diet is also necessary as per the recent trends, research trends, like at least when it is too low, say for example, it is coming below 3%, when we are going for highly digestible ingredients like maybe high-pro, soya, and all that kind of things. So when fiber is too less in the diet also, that may be hampering the gut development. Okay, so that is that has to be kept in mind. In one trial, just we tried adding supplemental fiber. So it is a kind of cellulose, and we can see like FCR was significantly improved when this was added. Body weight gain, we did not find any change, but FCR was much better. Then protein digestibility, particularly in the alternate ingredients, is always a challenge. And we tried different approaches, how best we can increase the efficiency of utilization of protein. So we in two trials, we tried a papain to increase the protein digestibility. So 250 and 500 grams per ton of feed were added, and the body weight gain, you can see like it was better at the 500 units, 500 grams per ton. FCR was also better, improved. And second trial also, FCR was better at almost similar level of 450 grams per ton of feed. And RTC also increased, and rest of course statistically it's also significant. It was also higher with papain supplementation. Then in another trial, protease was tried to improve the performance layers. The protease was supplemented, 4,000 units of protease was supplemented at 3 different levels of protein, 15%, 16.5, and 18%. At each level, we can see, like we can appreciate there is improvement of the performance, like the egg production was slightly better. And feed intake per egg was also at each level, there is improvement with protease supplementation. And similarly for energy also, we can try to reduce energy level by adding this enzymes, like particularly NSP degrading enzymes. So the FCR was maintained on par with the control in minus 200 kilocalories of energy with enzyme supplementation. So this also can be tried. That approach can be tried to cut down the cost of feeding. So we are very proud to show this. This is the compilation of all the research work done at our institute last 3 decades in alternate feed ingredients. So this was released during the Silver Jubilee celebrations of our institute a few years ago. And this, of course, this booklet is based on 71 research articles based on 125 experiments in DPR research. Of course, this number is the dynamic one is still continuing. So we are not stopped working on alternate ingredients because they always say ever green challenge. So we have been working on this. And the majority of these alternate protein supplements, we found them to be optimum between around 5 to 8% in the diet. Then sometimes this question also comes like, wheat which is not edible for humans, can it be fed to birds? And we always have a belief that wheat has so many non-starch polysaccharides or soluble fiber components which may decrease the nutrient availability. But in 2 trials we have done, one in layers and one in broilers, we did not find any problem with that. And this is how the diets were formulated along with the DDGS. So this trial, rice DDGS was superimposed on this. And like for up to 12% of rice DDS, there was no problem, and afterwards only there was, when it was increased to 16% in the diet rice DDS, the production has come down. And this is another interesting finding we have noticed. The feather loss was much more conspicuous with continuous prolonged feeding of this DDGS, could be due to the digestibility issues with amino acids, and maybe some vitamins were not or got destroyed during the processing of the DDGS perhaps. So this needs to be kept in mind. So we have to perhaps supplement the diets with some more additional quantity of biotin or maybe lysine when some batches of DDGS are used. And in broiler, indirectly we calculated 2 sets of groups were given maize and wheat, and the performance body weight gain was slightly on the higher side for wheat, but FCR was better or in favor of maize. But notwithstanding these slight differences or numerical differences, we can safely feed wheat if we have access to wheat at economical price in comparison to maize. Then AGPs. So this is the buzzword doing this rounds in the poultry circles for quite some time, and a lot of propaganda against poultry products on this issue. AMR, antimicrobial resistance, and poultry has been blamed as the major contributor of to this issue, which is of course the greatest concern for the whole humanity as well as the animal life. But not our contribution or poultry contribution might be there, but the other sectors are also significantly contributing to this, and I hope the holistic approach will be there to address this issue. But since we are also there in this, and we are also aware of the effects of this AMR, so we always should try to reduce AGP, or now as per the recent BIS specifications, poultry feed specifications, in which unfortunately I'm associated with that exercise as the convener of the expert panel. So we recommended not to use any AGP further. The chemicals which are clinically important for humans. So as per the World Health Organization's list, approved list. So in one project, so extensive work has been done on this aspect. This is funded by DBT, and in the one trial in broilers, you can see like different AGPs which are popularly used in the industry were compared with a negative control. So we did not find any difference either during the initial phase or at the market age of this using these AGPs. So this is of course in the control conditions. This shows that there is a possibility, like now we should move away from that notion of AGPs are must for our broiler production. So and the interesting thing is this diet had 4% MBM and the birds were reared on deep litter. That too, I think that is recycled litter, a built up litter. And then emulsifier also could be tried because the poor digestibility and the prolonged retention of intestinal contents will lead to all kinds of microbial proliferation in the gut. So if we improve the nutrient utilization, naturally the contents will not stay longer in the diet in the gut. So thereby the microbial population could be kept under control. So this is emulsifier with positive control, negative control, and then at different levels during pre-starter, starter, and pre-starter, starter, grower, and finisher diets. So different levels, 250, 255, and it was increased in the finisher and growing phases. But at this level, it was almost giving similar performance at the market age. You can say like this is better than negative control. Negative control is without AGP. With positive control is the with AGP. So this is on par with that. Then sodium butyrate or butyric acid also, like the coated one, so the encapsulated one. This experiment recently published. So negative control is without AGP, and this is with positive control, and then butyrate. You can see there was statistically no significance, but only FCR was negatively affected by in the negative control diet without AGP, and these were even better than the control, like with AGP. Like butyric acid was proven to be better than even the popularly used AGP, which was tested in this trial. Then essential oils also could be tried as an alternative, effective alternative to AGP. So feed efficiency, negative control was much inferior. So this is done in a reverse way, like body weight gain by feed intake and 100 to 50, 500 and 1000 grams per ton of feed. So at this level 250, so this gave the best performance. And then probiotics also could be tried, and different probiotics were tested in one trial and compared against BMD. And this slide, this one particularly is coming very close to this. So only probiotics, no other agent was tested in that. And then liver tonics also can be tried to like maintain the performance in the birds, and sometimes they'll be even better than the control. Then coming to the other one, like organic trace minerals, also we did a lot of work. The Rama Rao particularly has worked a lot on this aspect. And this paper published some time ago, you can see like this is inorganic trace minerals. Whatever the levels are being followed by the industry, that was taken as the control. And the organic trace minerals were tested at different levels, 100% of the level of the inorganic trace mineral, and then they were reduced to 75, 50, 40, and 30% of this inorganic. So we can see like up to market days, there was no problem in terms of body weight gain when the organic trace mineral level was maintained at 30% of the inorganic trace mineral level. The efficiency was also very close to it. Statistically, it is similar. That shows like when we are adding this, we can reduce the level of trace minerals in the diet. Then hydrolyzed protein also, if available, so protein hydrolysates, like they're already partially hydrolyzed. So peptides, dipeptide, tripeptides will be there. So it will be better utilized, particularly by the young chick. So it could be taken as a baby food, maybe initial phases that may be working better for the broiler chickens. So 5%, 10%. So statistically, they were better than the control. In 35 days, market is also, sometimes we may get the cumulative effect to be significant when at the market days. Then lastly, the mycotoxins, which is my pet subject, and a lot of work has happened and has been happening across the world. And ever since it was the mycotoxin, aflatoxin was first discovered in 1960. So last 40 plus 20 for 64 years. But still, we don't have any foolproof solution for this. So it involves the various managemental strategies right from the field. So unfortunately, many of those are not in the control of the farmer. So like in the agronomic practices, then harvesting practices, then storage, before it is marketed and then reaches the poultry farm. So there are very many number of challenges in this, and earlier we used to believe only aflatoxin is the only important toxin or the more the practically relevant toxin for us. But nowadays we are finding many other toxins like aflatoxin and fusarium toxins like T2 toxin, humanicin, mononiformin, and so many other things, flights and all that. So this is some list I have given here, and the other important issue is the combined presence. So when the feed ingredient is subjected to mold development, there could be not only one mold. Many molds might be developing there, or maybe the same mold might be releasing several mycotoxins. They are secondary metabolites of the fungus. Okay. For its own self-defense or protection. And just for illustration, how important this issue is and how rampant the mycotoxins are present throughout the world. You can see like this survey of last year, so tested on 23,000, more than 23,000 samples in 95 countries. You can see like the red, dark brown, dark red color. You can see they're highly vulnerable. And for our country, we have more of aflatoxin. South Asia, 77% of the samples were contaminated, and zearalenone 39%, deoxynivalenol 25%, T256, humanicin, and aflatoxin. So this is indirectly they'll be causing a lot of production losses, and we know like the liver is the target organ, and fat mobilization or fat utilization will be hampered in the birds consuming toxin. So way back when we were working on this toxin some 20 years ago, so this crazy idea came from Dr. Rama Rao. Like the bird is not able to utilize the fat, so all the fat is getting stored in the liver. So can we try supplementing little more fat and see? So I was scared initially because already bird is under stress. If you dump it with again some more fat, the bird maybe the health of the bird may be negatively affected. But to our surprise, 3% sunflower oil was added and 6% was added and tested. And this is the control bird without any toxin, and this was with 300 ppb of aflatoxin B1. So significant drop was there, and this was on par with the control, these two groups. Okay. So this was totally surprise for us. And then we went on exploring this concept, and different oils we tested and different levels we tested. And the sunflower oil gave the best response, and whereas soybean was intermediate and groundnut oil, it was almost not working. So this we thought like maybe the fatty acid composition of the oil is also important. So the fats which are rich in unsaturated fatty acids perhaps are more useful here. So how this is happening, we don't know. So maybe the fat is preventing the toxin from getting absorbed into the system, or its metabolism in the bird. It could be perhaps the oil is helping in an indirect way. So that's all about the various, some of the trials, selected trials thought to be presented today by Dr. Rama Rao. And these data was based on the experiments conducted at our institute and also in the field conditions. And to sum up, the dietary requirement of NPP is less at low calcium in the diet. Higher D3 can reduce calcium and NPP in diet. So we can reduce safely the calcium and NPP diet by sulfate levels by supplementing higher levels of D3. And then optimize calcium level for maximum efficiency of phytase. So this is very, very important. And then the broiler breeder NPP requirement is much lower than what we are actually feeding. And then phytase superdose improves broiler performance. And then with hydrolyzed protein, emulsifier, fiber, peptide, and so many other agents, we can improve the feed utilization. And wheat, if available, can be safely used. And then AGP has a limited role right now with better sanitation. Biosecurity, if we can maintain, so that is a need of the hour. We can safely dispense away with AGP. And the mycotoxins, of course, is a great challenge, and the success based will be based totally on the regular monitoring of the ingredient raw materials that we are purchasing and their storage and before they go into the formulation. So this has to be continuously followed to minimize. And then we can add toxin binders and organic acids to prevent mold development, and the yeast cell wall products, and so many options are available now by which we can minimize the toxins effects. So that's all from us for today's this evening's presentation. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much for this insightful information. I just request audience or participants, if you have any queries, please share that queries through chat box. We'll give you 5 minutes time. After that, we'll address your queries one by one. Thank you all. Thank you. Meanwhile, I'll just give brief introduction on M.V.L.N company profile. Sir, can you answer your content?
Yeah.
So this is about M.V.L.N group overview that we found. Company is founded in 1974 by Dr. Vinod Shah, and we have our in-house manufacturing facilities across the India, and also we are catering in product categories like feed additives and nutritional supplements to poultry, dairy, and aqua. Now these are our different divisions under the same company. So biosciences mainly, which includes animal and feed supplement business and feed additive business, and also we have our own manufacturing facilities for enzymes and probiotics. So these are our product offerings. Like we are into probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes. Then are into biosecurity and farm management services, product services like disinfectants and growth promoters. We also have blends of vitamins and minerals for poultry, dairy, and aqua. This is largely a portfolio of our poultry products. We known for the hydrolyzed vitamin D3, and that is Previte Alpha D3. Then we have toxin binders under the name family brand name like Zero Tox. Then Chem Raksha. We have disinfectants and continue disinfectants as well. Terminal and continuous disinfectants as well. So we are into enzymes like Enzymex. We are into specialty products like essential oil like Eucombint as a bronchodilators or respiratory health tonic. Emulsifier, our brand is Lipibond, which is well known to the farmers and nutritionists. So we have solutions for mycoplasma also. Toxin, for toxins also we have products like toxin binders like Zerotox with superior clays like Morolite, Quinocolite. And we have water sanitizers as well. Bromograin is our product, which is quite known in market for water sanitizing effect. These are our dairy portfolio. We also improve yeast also in dairy and also have other feed additives and supplements for dairy. These are our certifications which we got for our production facilities, FAMIQ, ISO. So these are our certificates we got for our facilities. So thank you all for your attention. Now we'll go through chat box and if is there any questions, we try to answer that to our speakers. So Raju sir, my voice is audible.
Yeah.
The first question is from Nivas. Okay, he's asking that is superdosing of phytase gives good result for layer 2?
Yeah, this I think I don't know that Rama Rao could be able to reply this, but all our research efforts were on broilers actually about the superdosing. In layers as such, we have been recommending low level of phosphorus. 0.25 was giving best results. Lower than what actually 0.11, 0.3, 0.33% is commonly used. So that I don't remember having done any research trial on that. Dr. Rama Rao may be able to supplement if he is there available on this.
Sir, you are there, Rama Rao sir? Okay, no issue, sir. I'll reconnect to with Dr. Rama Rao sir and get back to
Okay.
Nivas.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we'll move for
Sanjay,
sir.
Sanjay, I'm very much there. So what Dr. Raju told, that is very true. We never did any trial on phytase superdosing. Only we tested regular doses, where we got some very encouraging results. But as Dr. Raju made a presentation, in presence of even optimum dose of phytase, that means 500 FIT. If you are increasing the dietary calcium level even 3.7 or 3.4 or 4.25, definitely it will have a very negative impact. So if you want to, this is your hypothetical answer I'm telling, it could be even maybe possible. But when we are optimizing the dietary calcium level around 3.5 or 3.6 maximum, so you may get some advantage of phytase superdosing in case of even layers also. But fact is, we never did any trial on layers. But it could be possible. It may be even possible. But only thing is, we have to leave the habit of going for 4.25, 4.5% of calcium. Under such situation, higher calcium level not only directly impact, even it impact the ordinary like phytase activity also. So it will facilitate reformation of phytate even after breakdown in presence of phytase enzyme. So we have to be very cautious and you have to really truly optimize the minimum required level of calcium only in order to get the best benefit even out of not only this phytase superdosing, even dose of even regular phytase superdose. So regular dose also, you have to be very cautious and you have to maintain only a minimum required level of calcium around 3.5 or maximum 3.6%.
Oh, thank you, sir, for your input. Sir, there is next question from Vaibhav Gawande. Now, how much methionine level can be increased to minimize mycotoxin challenge in broiler and layer?
See, normally 10 to 15% additional methionine is recommended whenever there is an issue of mycotoxicosis in the birds, like whether it's broilers or layers, over the normal level. Okay, so that will help in quick elimination of the toxin from the system. Like it is catabolized fast, and then gets converted into less toxic metabolites, and then gets excreted into the feces. Okay, so maybe, yeah, the 10 to 15% could be tried along with vitamins, and maybe something to support liver, like herbal liver tonics can be added to it, and then vitamins. And if in combination, if we try all these things, the birds will be quickly able to come out of the problem. So the first thing, despite all these things, is we have to change the feed. Okay, as long as the contaminated feed is going, whatever you are able to do, whatever the measures we try, but they will be giving only mixed results. Okay, so first we have to stop exposing the birds to the toxin. So whatever the feed is that is suspected should be stopped, and then give normal or healthy diet, and then try all these things so that the negative effects of the toxins can be quickly eliminated from the birds.
So nice of you, sir. Thank you. There is another question from Dr. Ashok. Is there any in vivo method to test the efficacy of mycotoxin binder in poultry?
Yeah, to me, I have not seen anything because it's such a complicated one. It gets metabolized, and then metabolites will be coming into the excretion and all that. So whatever we have been doing is in vitro only, mostly in vitro, simulating the gut conditions of the chicken. So try different agents, how best they are able to bind the toxin, which is again not released. It's a physical absorption. You can say it won't be again released. It stays bound to the chemical so that it escapes the absorption into the system. So in vitro methods have been there, widely popular, being tried. But I personally perceive it is the word is the best. Like no, the
Okay, I found this on the web for which is the bot
is the best uh, agent to tell us, like, no, whether it is working or not. So test it on the birds, and if they are performing well, and definitely the binding agent is working. Okay. So quantitatively assessing and all that, whatever we have done is in vitro only we have done. We have not tested any in vivo method, and I am not aware of any such method available, looking at the complications involved in this.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the next question is from Dr. Chibwe, is on enzyme application. Like, how widespread is the use of wheat as a source of energy in commercial diets for layers in India? Is there value for money when supplemental enzymes are used looking at the content on NSP?
Yeah, Dr. Rama Rao.
Yes, sir. Not only, of course, wheat is traditionally known as having a more fiber, particularly xylans, and which may impact the digestion in the chicken intestine. Not only even wheat, even we are getting very excellent results with enzyme supplementation in corn soya diet, which is supposed to be the best, like highly digestible compared to any other alternative ingredients. So since we are getting the very good results, even corn soya diets, even we tested with wheat-based diets also. Absolutely. And now I'm a bit more confident about the enzyme activity nowadays because we did several trials. Almost every year, just we are running very systematic trials, maybe 5 to 6 trials every year we are running with enzymes. I'm not talking about the phytase. That is, phytase is very proven, and there is no need of even discussing about that. How best we can get superdosing response is one thing, but otherwise, NSP enzymes are also very, very effective. Even our Indian companies are also, they're performing better. Yeah, it is definitely cost effective because, of course, we are not given any cost estimates here because that cost is highly volatile. So if you give some number that may not be applicable at least even a couple of months also because it keeps changing so rapidly, dynamic way. So, but a change of almost 3 to 5 units of 3 to 5 units maximum we got feed efficiency. So sometimes body weight gain we never got, but feed efficiency is minimum 3 to 5 or 7 also we got unit improvement. Suppose modestly if you are taking 3, so 3 into 2 kg, let us say body weight, that means 60 kg. 60 into 250 birds, we are 60 into 250 birds. We are feeding 1 ton of feed. So that is close to around, maybe I'm not able to calculate, it must be around maybe 20 kg or 25 kg. 25 kg feed and whatever the enzyme we are supplementing is definitely 25 kg is more expensive compared to what the cost of enzymes what we are supplementing. So definitely enzymes are very cost effective. Thank you. Sanjay.
Yeah, you are true, sir. You are right, sir. Sir, there is another question from Dr. Ray. That is,
Yes.
without emulsifier, how much oil maximum level is there in diet of broiler and layer?
Actually,
Maximum oil percentage without emulsifier in broiler and layer diets.
because if you have a calculator, please help me because now we tested, of course, the data we have not presented, but very recently it got published somewhere in British Poultry Science. So there we reduced the energy level by 100 calories per kilo diet, 100 calories. 100 calories into 1000 kilos, that means per ton, divided by 8,000. Do you have any calculator here, Sanjay?
Yeah, yes, sir. Just me, huh?
100 calories into 1000, that means 1 lakh.
Right.
1 lakh kilocalories divided by 8,000 lagaiye, just for calculation.
So what
8,000.
Dr. Rama Rao garu, what actually he means is
It's 125, sir.
when it is required, when it is emulsifier is required, at what level of oil in the diet?
We can reduce a little bit, but that's I am trying to make calculation further.
Okay.
100
It's
kilocalories.
125, sir.
125.
Right.
8,000, not 100. 1 lakh.
8,000 only, sir.
So
10 lakh.
that is around 12 kg.
Right.
12 kg oil we can save by supplementation of enzyme based on our, of course, the only one trial we did with that. 100 calories we reduced, but supplemented this emulsifier different doses, and where we got significantly equal response as that of positive control. So with that, I think approximately 10 to 12 kg minimum we can reduce oil content in the diet. Is it clear, dear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now I would like to, Dr. C. Lakshmi for votes of thanks.
One more is there. No? One more question is there.
Just wait, sir. Huh?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, there is
Thank you.
one, Dr. C. Lakshmi, there is one more question from Vaibhav. Due to high blending target of ethanol in petrol, the maize DDGS will be available in higher amount in India. Considering it, how much maximum level of maize DDGS can be added in broiler and layer diet? Maximum inclusion of maize DDGS, sir, in broiler and layer diet.
Raj sir, do you have some idea on that?
We evaluated rice DDGS mostly. Most of our experiments were on rice DDGS only. This is of late has been coming into the market because of rice is not allowed since a few months for ethanol production. So much of maize is going into it, and maize DDGS is coming into the market. So as we were discussing, myself, Dr. Rama Rao, and some time ago, the protein content is slightly on the lower side for maize DDGS compared to rice. Maybe this because of the fermentation efficiency and all that. Yeah, maybe fiber component will be an additional constraint here. So otherwise, rice DDGS about 8 to 10%, layers even a little more than that, up to 12%. We did not find any issue with rice DDGS. So with maize DDGS, maybe slightly lesser amount, maybe, I don't know, could be suggested.
Sir, yeah, of course, not our, this information is not from our own source. We got some information from Namakkal lab, so where Recently, they analyzed several maize DDS samples for mycotoxins. General perception or results from that lab is maize DDS mycotoxins are higher concentration in maize DDS compared to rice. So that is one thing which may definitely limit the usage of this material in our poultry diets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The next question is what will be the, using both the best NSPS and at the matrix of 100 kilocalorie and good emulsifier, what should be the combined max metabolized energy reduction in broiler?
Of course, traditionally we tried 100 calories, and in one of the trial Dr. Raju showed with the 3 treatment groups, we reduced up to 200 kilocalories. It all depends on the claim of the company or maybe product which people are marketing. So we tested a minimum 100 to maximum of 200 kilocalories per kilo. It all depends on the potency of that enzyme that is available, which you are purchasing.
So I'm happy to share vote of thanks for this such a nice webinar. So as we come to close this insightful webinar, it is our privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of M.V.L.N Biosciences Limited. Firstly, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Dr. S.V. Rama Rao and Dr. M.V.L.N Raju. So their expertise and the invaluable knowledge they shared with us today on research trends on poultry nutrition have truly enlightened and engaged us. Their willingness to share their time and insights is greatly appreciated. So I would also like to thank our participants who have joined us from various locations like India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. So your active participation, questions, and engagement have significantly contributed to the success of this webinar. This was our 11th webinar, and it is our enthusiasm and curiosity that drive us to organize such events. And we are grateful for your continued support. A special thanks goes to our organizing committee and technical team for their hard work and dedication behind the scenes. So your seamless coordination and technical support, we have ensured that everything ran smoothly. So finally, thank you all once again for your participation. We look forward to your presence in our future events. Have a great day ahead. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rama Rao sir, and thank you, M.V.L. and Raju sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Thanks for giving opportunity of sharing our thoughts with your almost majority veterinarians are there in the line.
Right, right.
So definitely it will have we assume or presume there will be it will have some impact on the industry. So thank you very much for giving opportunity. Thank you, Raju
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity also.
No, sir. It is really very Hercules task. Just today morning only, I requested Dr. Raju. So within a short span, he could able to understand, grasp everything. Of course, we discussed many times.